It's the end of the semester, so here I am sitting in the comfortable end of the office. And I'm almost in disbelief that the semester is actually over. In one way, it seemed to drag on forever, and then in another way, it seemed that it was over just like that. The first thing I want to talk about is this is the last issue of the school newspaper, and this is what came out last week. So this is a profile on me. My friend Emily is one of the contributors for the Obiter Dicta, and what she was doing was trying to do a random profile of a random student, just kind of as a way to get to know who I am, my history, what led me to law school, as she does with the other people that are profiled in the papers. And it was really cool to get a couple of pages to myself in the student newspaper. So that was really cool. And Emily, thank you for that. That was really special, and that's cool. So thank you for that. Nice way to end the term. So speaking of ending the term, so as you know, my last exam was Crim. It was so nice to have only one thing to focus on. In fact, I felt like I had extra time for this one. I knew I was really prepared. At this point, I am very assured in the way I prepare outlines and that it's the right way to prepare for an exam for me. But I felt like I almost had a whole extra day. And what I did with that day is I went through the textbook and I found every single essay that was part of the assigned reading, but that we never really talked about in class very much. And I decided to just kind of mark it, and then, okay, I'm going to pull the thesis statement from every single essay and the author and subject and all that, so that just in case, if it comes up on the exam and I can supplement one of my points with, oh, here's something that this other author said, it might add a little bit more content to my papers. And that was really smart because it actually worked out, because there were a few places in the exam that I could actually sneak in a little side content. Minutes away from finishing my last exam for the semester. I feel really good about this one. Here we go.
Okay,
Hey,
so we're done.
We just finished the Crim exam. How do you guys feel?
Relieved.
Wonderful.
Relieved, yeah.
Wonderful.
A lot
We're
less
done.
stress.
First semester of our 1L.
Yeah.
I am most pleased because it's in the history books. It's finished.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
It's like
No more
everything we've
slog.
studied
No
for
more.
the
Yeah,
past 3 months. Yeah.
it's all done. Yay, it went
And it's
really
all
well.
erased now.
It was really long though. Like,
Yeah.
we barely got through it after like 3 hours of writing.
No stopping. Yeah.
Very ridiculous.
Okay, we're off to celebrate. Hang on. Okay, now it's recording now. All right, we're going
All right.
home now.
So we're going home now. It's our pub night after we finish our 1L exams, which means that it was time to party, but at the same time, also time to go to bed early because we're so tired.
Yeah, and our voices are all really hoarse.
Exactly, I've lost my voice. I don't know if it's from screaming in the club or from just being run down from like 2 straight weeks of exams and like 3 hour long.
Nah, it's from yelling at the club.
Yelling at the
Yelling
club.
at the club.
So, like,
Hey guys, yes,
like,
making a
in
video.
a video
How you
with
guys
us.
feel? We're done.
Tired.
So
Should we go
tired, but at the
home?
same time so happy.
Yeah, let's all go sleep.
Guys, we finished the hardest semester of law school. We just thought that's yeah. People say
yeah.
like 1L is the hardest and the first semester's the worst. So like, you know what?
Good to hear.
That is
Of course.
amazing. We did so well. We're done. Nobody has to drop out.
That was the end of the semester. As soon as that was finished, I was done for 2018. And on that note, I want to talk a little bit about what this semester was like and what kind of things I've learned. So first of all, I think that information management is #1 at law school. You're definitely not trying to learn things by memorization. You're not trying to study the history about how something was decided in one particular case, because you want to apply those forward. So the best thing to do is just to manage that information. And it's great knowing that now, because I still have a whole other half year of first year to come, and I'm really glad that I've already learned that lesson, because now that I'm going to get ready for these new courses that are coming, I'm all set to go. I'm like, okay, I know exactly how I'm going to approach these new courses, and that's really cool. So the fact that the first semester of first year, which is probably going to be the hardest possible semester, is done, and that's fantastic. So information management was the main academic lesson I learned from first semester of first year. And on that topic, actually, I want to talk a little bit about the data. So because I'm a nerd and I like statistics, here I'm going to throw up on the screen some of the statistics that I have for this semester. So this is the number of actual cases in each subject. As you can see, contracts way out in front, over 200 cases that we had to read or that were referenced, and torts and criminal also in the same ballpark, but to a much lesser degree, especially criminal. The next slide is page count. This is actually how much material I generated in terms of actual page count. The green is my lecture notes and the blue is my reading notes. And together you can see that contracts and torts well out ahead of everything else, and that's a lot of material. But the other part of data management is just how many actual files am I collecting for each of these courses. These are things that they would upload to the internet that I would have to download either as an additional reading module or just additional reference material. And that was, as you can see, here's where State and Citizen makes up the difference, well out in front, just in terms of the amount of material that I need to keep track of and manage. This is a fun slide. This is my Challenges to Authority pie chart. So this, of course, in the blue are professors which I called out this term, in contrast to professors not called out. You'll remember my stories about contracts and State and Citizen, where I called out my contracts professor for sending an unconstructive email in the middle of a different class before we'd gotten our midterm grades back about how poorly we all did and what a big downer that was. And that resulted in her apologizing to everyone in front of the class. So I thought that was great. And State and Citizen, the more recent example that you've heard, which was where I called out the professor in the middle of class in front of everyone for basically, in my opinion, taking time away from the guest speaker who was better positioned to talk about issues of race and discrimination. And that's a really cool thing to end this note on, is that I've had these interactions with professors that are going to be really memorable for years to come. The last thing I want to talk about in terms of academics was when I'm putting together all of this information, I find that it's very contradictory and confusing and it doesn't make sense, and this is, I think, one of the main challenges of law school. But the thing that I find interesting about that is that it's not actually trying to come to the final solution. Okay, what is the answer? Because you'll find in many cases there isn't an answer, because for decades certain justices in the Supreme Court have decided one thing and other justices have decided something else, and there is no agreement. There's no coalescing solution. And I think realizing that is a great part of my process, where I can just decide, okay, this is what it is, and it's confusing, but that's okay. In fact, the way I put it is, I'm not confused, the law is. And that's my favorite thing about that. Last few notes about just this semester overall. It has been extremely helpful to have a routine, just something to keep everything low friction, so that I can just go through the motions of what I need to do, so I can focus on the work, and that's really helped. Also, having a really good data backup system has really helped. It meant like all this information I need to manage, I know I'm not losing anything because I have all of these backups, snapshots for previous dates, and I'm keeping my desktop and my laptop synchronized, and I'm doing it manually to make sure that I have a last look at the automated system so that nothing gets overwritten, and that was really helpful. So all those things that are just low friction. The last thing is that I found it very helpful to be really generous with my information this semester. If I just hand out information, you'll remember that for the criminal law midterm, I just gave everyone my entire index, and that type of approach of refusing to see anyone that I work with as my competitors has been really rewarding this semester. And it certainly pays, because it means I get help from other people when I need it. And if I have other people's back, they've got mine. So that has been something that was the right thing, the right way to approach. Because even though we're all on a bell curve and it's objectively competitive, I think just by deciding not to see my peers as my competitors has made my law school experience much better. And that's it. That's my entire semester. And what I can say about the last few days of this first week off is that I found it very difficult to just start to relax. I have been running high-strung, on edge for so long that it's really hard for me just to kind of stop. I think I'm finally managing to, but in those first few days, I even did some readings for State and Citizen to prepare for next semester, because I couldn't not. And that was weird, but here we go. I'm going to try to relax for the next few weeks off and enjoy returning to law school in 2019. What an eventful year. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate you tuning in and seeing how things are doing and letting me know how things are going in your life, because that's why I started this series, as my way of trying to keep up, keep in contact, have some kind of thing I can look back on, but mostly just to stay connected. So thank you for being so engaging. And that's it. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.